There's a subtle, almost magnetic power in knowing how to captivate a man in ways he can't even fully understand. You might think attraction is all about words or grand gestures, but often it's the small, deliberate moves that trigger the deepest emotional response. When used wisely, these 4 moves can make him completely lose control, not because you're trying to manipulate him, but because you're mastering the art of influence through confidence, mystery, and emotional engagement. Imagine the way a glance, a laugh, or a playful tease can make him think about you long after you've left the room. Think about the tension that builds when you balance showing interest with maintaining your own independence. These aren't tricks, they're strategic ways to ignite desire naturally. Today, you'll learn exactly how to do it, step by step, in a way that's irresistible, authentic, and deeply compelling. Confidence is one of those things that isn't taught in a classroom, but it is something you can cultivate in a way that changes the way people respond to you, especially in dating and attraction. When it comes to men, confidence is magnetic because it signals security, self-respect, and independence. It's not about arrogance or needing to dominate the conversation or proving yourself. It's about how you feel about yourself internally and how that translates into your presence. Think about the difference between someone who walks into a room and immediately tries too hard to get attention versus someone who simply carries themselves with ease, making others naturally gravitate toward them. The latter exudes a subtle authority that is impossible to ignore. Men are wired to notice it, often unconsciously. They might not be able to articulate why they are drawn to you, but they feel the pull, and it creates a foundation for desire that runs deeper than physical attraction. One of the first ways to cultivate this kind of confidence is through your body language. Your posture communicates far more than your words ever could. Standing tall, shoulders back, and head held high tells the world that you are comfortable in your own skin. Even small gestures, like making steady eye contact or speaking at a calm, measured pace, signal control and poise. Men pick up on these cues instantly because they suggest self-assurance and stability, qualities that are universally attractive. Another essential component is self-reliance. When you are emotionally and mentally grounded, you radiate a sense of calm strength. This doesn't mean you never need support or that you should act invulnerable. It means that you have cultivated a life and identity that isn't dependent on anyone else's validation. When a man senses that you are whole on your own, it creates a natural pull. He's drawn in not by desperation, but by the challenge and allure of someone who has her own energy and standards. It makes him want to earn a place in your life, rather than assuming he automatically has it. Confidence also involves knowing your worth and not just saying it, but living it. This can mean setting boundaries in a relationship or being selective about where you invest your time and energy. It's about respecting yourself enough to expect the same from others. When you do this, men instinctively respond with more focus, care, and investment. They feel your value, and it triggers a natural desire to rise to your level rather than compete against it. Something people often overlook is that confidence isn't a constant. It's a skill you can practice and refine. It grows when you take small risks, step out of your comfort zone, and embrace moments where you feel slightly vulnerable. For example, initiating a conversation, expressing your opinion in a group, or showing genuine interest in someone without fear of rejection. Each of these actions reinforces your belief in your own abilities and presence, and men notice that. They see a woman who is willing to take charge of her life and her emotions, and it makes them feel both admiration and attraction. A crucial part of this kind of confidence is authenticity. Men are naturally attracted to someone who is comfortable being herself, because it eliminates the need for guesswork or pretense. When you stop trying to be what you think someone else wants, and instead embody your own personality fully, your energy shifts. You become memorable not because of what you do, but because of who you are and how you carry yourself. That magnetic presence is far more powerful than any line, gesture, or trick. Confidence works in harmony with subtlety. It's not about dominating every interaction or showing off. It's about being steady and assured while leaving space for curiosity and engagement. A man may find himself captivated by the way you hold a conversation, the calm assurance in your voice, or the quiet power in your gestures. He might even feel a sense of awe, realizing that this is someone who doesn't rely on external validation, yet is fully open to connection. That tension, the blend of approachability and self-possession, is where true attraction begins. Confidence isn't just about looking or acting a certain way. It's about cultivating an inner certainty that permeates every interaction. It's the energy that makes a man stop in his tracks, notice you in a crowded room, and feel that undeniable pull. When you master this, you're no longer chasing attention, you're naturally commanding it. And the beauty of it is, this kind of confidence isn't manipulative, it's authentic, empowering, and sustainable. It's the foundation for every other move that will make him completely lose control. Playfulness is one of the most underestimated forces in attraction. Many women think that being serious, composed, or perfect is the way to capture a man's attention, but the truth is that emotional connection is often built in moments of laughter, spontaneity, and light-hearted engagement. Playfulness doesn't just make interactions fun, it creates an emotional investment that pulls a man toward you almost irresistibly. Think about the people who stick in your mind long after you've met them. Rarely is it because of a meticulously rehearsed conversation or a flawless outfit. It's often because of the way they made you feel, the spark of joy, the teasing banter, the unexpected laugh at the right moment. When a woman is playful, she creates emotional highs and positive associations, and the brain links her presence to those feelings. Men naturally crave that energy, and over time, it builds a deep, almost subconscious attachment. Playfulness is not the same as being childish or careless. It's about cultivating a sense of spontaneity and lightness that makes interactions memorable. For example, teasing him in a fun, non-threatening way can create a subtle tension that's irresistible. It signals that you're confident enough to joke, challenge, and engage without needing constant reassurance. A playful comment or mischievous smile can do more to ignite desire than a long declaration of feelings, because it activates curiosity and excitement, two key elements in making a man emotionally hooked. One of the most powerful aspects of playfulness is that it encourages a man to let his guard down. When he feels safe to be silly, vulnerable, or adventurous around you, he starts associating you with emotional freedom. This is crucial because men often struggle to express their feelings openly, especially in the early stages of attraction. By creating moments where he can laugh, joke, and feel seen in a playful environment, you're establishing a connection that goes beyond superficial charm. It becomes emotional, dynamic, and magnetic. Playfulness also works as a subtle form of challenge. When used strategically, it keeps him on his toes, prevents predictability, and sparks desire. Humans are naturally drawn to novelty and unpredictability, and a woman who can inject humor, flirtation, or unexpected fun into interactions creates a sense of anticipation. He begins to look forward to your presence, not just for what you do or say, but for the emotional experience of being with you. That anticipation is what keeps desire alive and makes him emotionally invested over time. Another aspect to understand is that playfulness is deeply connected to confidence. A woman who is willing to laugh at herself, make witty remarks, or engage in playful banter demonstrates that she doesn't take herself too seriously and that she is secure in who she is. Men are naturally drawn to this because it signals emotional maturity and independence while also creating an energy that is contagious. He wants to be around someone who elevates his mood, makes him feel alive, and reminds him of the fun side of life. Playfulness also enhances communication in ways that are subtle but powerful. A teasing comment, a playful challenge, or a light-hearted dare can convey attraction without the need for explicit statements. It allows you to express interest while maintaining a sense of mystery. He knows you like him, but he also has to earn your attention through engagement and interaction. This combination of interest and challenge is psychologically compelling. It encourages a man to invest emotionally because he feels that the connection is interactive, dynamic, and rewarding. It's important to note that playfulness should always feel natural and authentic. Men can sense when it's forced or performed purely as a tactic, and that usually has the opposite effect. It pushes them away. The key is to embrace your personality, your humor, and your spontaneity in ways that feel true to you. For instance, a shared joke about a minor mishap, playful teasing about a habit, or a humorous reaction to a situation can become moments he remembers and associates with positive emotion. Those moments accumulate, building an emotional connection that's both strong and lasting. Playfulness is a tool for creating balance in a relationship. While seriousness and depth have their place, emotional highs created through fun, teasing, and laughter strengthen the bond. They provide contrast and excitement, preventing interactions from feeling mundane or predictable. Over time, a man starts to equate you with emotional satisfaction, not just physical or intellectual attraction, and that's when playfulness transforms from a surface-level charm into a mechanism that drives emotional investment and attachment. In short, being playful is not frivolous, it's strategic and deeply impactful. It's about creating emotional peaks, inspiring laughter, and sparking curiosity. A woman who knows how to blend charm, humor, and spontaneity in a natural way doesn't just capture attention, she captures the heart and mind. Men can't help but be drawn to the joy, excitement, and energy she brings, making them emotionally invested in ways that feel effortless but are profoundly effective. Playfulness, when embraced authentically, is one of the most powerful moves to make a man completely lose control. Direct emotional engagement is one of the most powerful ways to make a man feel deeply connected to you, and it's often misunderstood. Many women think emotional connection is only about opening up slowly, sharing personal stories, or waiting for him to take the lead. The truth is, when done thoughtfully, direct emotional engagement creates intensity, curiosity, and desire in a way that passive approaches simply cannot. It's not about oversharing or being vulnerable too quickly. It's about intentionally showing interest in him while maintaining your own standards, boundaries, and independence. One of the first keys to emotional engagement is active listening. Men, just like women, crave to feel understood. They want someone who can see beyond their words and recognize their feelings, even if they don't fully express them. When you respond to him thoughtfully, reflect on what he says, and ask questions that show genuine curiosity, you signal that you value his inner world. This isn't about interrogation, it's about demonstrating that you are present and attuned, creating a bridge between your energy and his. That bridge becomes a magnetic pull he can't resist. Another critical element is the power of mirroring emotional cues. When he shares something significant, whether it's a personal triumph, a challenge at work, or even a frustration, responding with empathy and connection amplifies intimacy. If he expresses excitement, match it with enthusiasm. If he's frustrated, show calm understanding. This subtle attunement creates the sense that you get him, on a deeper level, which men rarely experience with most women. The result is that he feels safe opening up more, and that emotional investment grows naturally. Direct emotional engagement also thrives on timing and pacing. You don't need to pour out your heart the second you meet, nor should you respond to every text or attempt to constantly reassure him. Part of the allure is balancing accessibility with a subtle sense of independence. When you engage emotionally at the right moments, showing attentiveness, asking meaningful questions, or reacting thoughtfully, you create tension and anticipation. He starts to look forward to those moments, seeking them out, and over time, your presence becomes associated with a sense of emotional reward and fulfillment. One of the most compelling forms of direct emotional engagement is expressing genuine interest without compromising your identity. This means showing that you care about him, his thoughts, and his feelings, while maintaining your own life, standards, and goals. Men are naturally drawn to women who have strong inner lives and independent energy, yet can also engage with them on an emotional level. The combination of accessibility and independence creates a magnetic pull dynamic that fosters desire and deepens attachment. It's also important to understand that direct emotional engagement goes beyond verbal communication. Small gestures, like remembering details from past conversations, offering encouragement when he's pursuing a goal, or subtly acknowledging his efforts, signal that you are paying attention and valuing him. These actions, though subtle, convey emotional depth and attentiveness, which men feel almost instinctively. Over time, these moments accumulate, forming a strong emotional foundation that makes him increasingly invested in you. Playfulness and flirtation can be seamlessly woven into emotional engagement as well. It's not just about serious conversations, it's about creating contrast. Moments of light teasing or shared laughter intertwined with attentive listening and genuine connection create emotional peaks and valleys. These emotional highs and lows are crucial. They make interactions memorable, stimulating, and ultimately addictive. Men remember how you make them feel, not just what you say or do, and direct emotional engagement ensures those feelings are powerful, positive, and compelling. Another subtle but vital aspect is the art of holding space for his emotions without taking responsibility for them. Emotional engagement doesn't mean fixing his problems or carrying his emotional weight. It means being present, empathizing, while letting him process his own experiences. This creates respect, admiration, and trust because he senses that you are strong enough to maintain your own emotional balance while still being attentive and supportive. That balance is incredibly attractive. It signals emotional intelligence, maturity, and stability. Direct emotional engagement is about creating a connection that feels dynamic and alive. It's not just passive attention, it's an active, intentional effort to engage his mind and heart while keeping your own energy and standards intact. When a man experiences this level of emotional resonance, he begins to see you as someone rare, someone who is fully present, genuinely interested, and yet intriguingly independent. That combination fosters desire, deepens investment, and ultimately makes him feel that losing your attention would be impossible to bear. In essence, direct emotional engagement is a skill that blends empathy, attentiveness, timing, and authenticity. It transforms ordinary interactions into moments of intense emotional resonance, making a man feel deeply seen, valued, and captivated. It's one of the most powerful moves you can use to make him completely lose control, not through manipulation, but through genuine, strategic connection that triggers desire, admiration, and lasting emotional investment. Timing and subtle touch are two of the most underestimated tools in attraction, yet when used intentionally, they can completely transform a man's emotional and physical response to you. Many women assume that creating desire is all about words, attention, or grand gestures, but in reality, the moments between words, the pauses, the glances, and the lightest touches often speak louder than anything else. These small, deliberate actions create tension, anticipation, and a deep subconscious connection that makes a man feel like he can't control his thoughts or reactions around you. The first element of timing is understanding the rhythm of interaction. People naturally respond to pacing, and attraction often grows when conversations or encounters have a balance of engagement and space. For example, responding too quickly to every text, message, or call can unintentionally signal neediness, while waiting just long enough, not to play games, but to maintain your own boundaries, creates a subtle tension that keeps him thinking about you. It's this rhythm that primes him to feel both desire and curiosity, because he begins to anticipate your presence and attention rather than taking it for granted. Subtle touch, on the other hand, works on a completely different level. Physical contact releases oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, which makes people feel connected, safe, and attached. The key is subtlety. Touches that are brief, casual, and natural are far more effective than prolonged or obvious attempts at intimacy. A gentle brush on the arm when laughing, a playful tap during conversation, or a light touch on the shoulder can trigger a deep emotional and physiological response. It's not about seduction in an overt sense, it's about creating moments that register in his mind and body, building an almost magnetic pull toward you. The combination of timing and touch amplifies attraction because it works on multiple layers. Timing controls the flow of attention and anticipation, while touch creates a sensory connection that is difficult to ignore. For instance, maintaining eye contact for a beat longer than expected, paired with a light touch on the hand, can make a man feel simultaneously noticed, valued, and subtly challenged. It creates a mini emotional high that he unconsciously wants to repeat, which keeps him drawn to you long after the encounter ends. Another crucial aspect of timing is knowing when to reveal your energy or emotion. Moments of intensity, whether laughter, flirtation, or shared excitement, have more impact when they are contrasted with calm, composed moments. This contrast creates peaks and valleys in emotional experience which men are wired to respond to. When you engage fully in the moment, then step back and allow space, you give him the opportunity to reflect, crave, and anticipate your next move. Over time, these well-timed interactions build an emotional rhythm that becomes addictive, making him feel like he's chasing something rare and exhilarating. Touch also works as a non-verbal form of communication that conveys confidence and intimacy without words. When combined with subtle timing, it allows you to signal attraction while maintaining control. For example, leaning in slightly to hear him better, brushing your hand against his as you reach for something, or lightly resting your hand on his arm during a shared joke can create sparks of tension and desire that are both exciting and emotionally binding. Men respond to these cues instinctively. They don't always consciously notice them, but they feel the effect and are drawn toward it. It's important to note that both timing and subtle touch are most effective when authentic. Men are highly sensitive to cues that feel forced or manipulative. The goal is not to trick or control, but to enhance natural chemistry through attention, presence, and small physical gestures. When done with awareness, these techniques feel seamless and natural, creating a connection that is both powerful and effortless. Timing and touch also reinforce emotional engagement. A well-placed pause after a meaningful statement, a brief touch during laughter, or a shared glance at just the right moment signals that you are present, attentive, and in sync with him. This coordination creates a sense of intimacy and alignment that goes beyond words. He begins to associate his feelings of excitement, attraction, and anticipation directly with your presence, and that connection deepens over time. The power of timing and subtle touch lies in their ability to influence both the mind and body simultaneously. Timing creates anticipation, curiosity, and emotional engagement, while subtle touch creates a physiological bond that deepens desire and attachment. When combined strategically, they make interactions feel electric, compelling, and irresistible. A man doesn't just want your attention, he feels drawn to it, and to you in a way that is difficult to resist. Mastering this dynamic is not about manipulation, it's about being aware of your energy, presence, and the natural rhythms of interaction. It's about creating moments that are memorable, emotionally charged, and subtly magnetic. When you integrate timing and touch into your interactions authentically, you tap into one of the most potent forces in attraction, making a man feel captivated, connected, and completely unable to control the way he responds to you. When it comes down to it, attraction isn't about games or grand gestures, it's about presence, intention, and the subtle ways you show up in his life. By mastering confidence, you signal that you are grounded and irresistible. By embracing mystery, you spark curiosity that keeps him coming back for more. Through playfulness, you ignite emotional highs that make every interaction memorable. By engaging him emotionally with authenticity, you create a deep connection that he can't ignore. And finally, by understanding the power of timing and subtle touch, you orchestrate moments that feel electric and unforgettable. These moves aren't tricks, they're tools to show him who you are fully, without compromise, while inviting him to meet you on that same level. When you combine them, you don't just capture attention, you create desire, connection, an emotional investment so strong that he can't help but be completely captivated. The choice to use these moves intentionally is yours, and when you do, you hold the power to make him feel something extraordinary, something he will remember long after the moment passes.